All ready to go. Oh, look at you. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome. It's Wednesday. It's Tuesday No Problem. It's After Dark. So, a whole bunch of stuff for the bankruptcy court proceedings were sent off into the adjournment stage, and now hearings are scheduled for March, a month from now. It appears, though, that they did request that they talk about a lot of stuff behind closed doors or during conferences rather than in front of the court. Interesting. This is what I was thinking, is that it was going to get pushed off because the Ryan Cohen pump and dump case isn't done yet, and here we are waiting for it to be done. Ryan Cohen did some tweets recently that kind of alludes to perhaps the pump and dump case getting done. Judith filed a motion today agreeing with Todd that the case should be dismissed, and also agreeing with Ryan Cohen that the company should not take over as plaintiff. I personally think that the judge a year ago should just dismiss this thing because it doesn't fall under the Rule 16B anyway, which is when you buy in, you're an insider, and then you can't sell for 6 months as an insider. Ryan Cohen did not buy in as an insider, so half of the requirements of 16B does not apply. He sold as an insider, but he did not make himself an insider. He became an insider through basically fraud because the company spent $1 billion on a stock buyback rather than buying, product to sell in their stores, and that's why they went bankrupt. So if I were the judge, I'd be like, yeah, all the needs are not met. We'll just discharge this thing. It's a waste of time. But for some reason, that has not happened. And here we are, continuing to twiddle the thumbs forever. I was also going to bring up, we'll bring it up a sec. But anyway, we're going to do this one. Nope, it didn't happen. Try again.
Houston, we have a problem.
Also, No Labs did their earnings, and there's 8K today. There's 10K as well. Quarterly report. There's not. Someone asked me to go over it. There's not too much exciting stuff going on in here. And did I not turn? Oh, fucking! I don't think I turned it off before I switch screens. Good dipper. Well, now I know it's coming. Sigh. Come on. Give me that thing so I can click on this thing and I can do that one? Yes, that one. So there's 10Q and an 8K. Basically they are spending money. Here we show they're spending money. They're spending a lot of money. 5 to 8 million a quarter. That's totally understandable. They're doing tests. They're building a product. That's all to be expected. In here, they show just how much money they've spent in total, and it's a lot. They're losing money because they don't have a product to sell yet, and they won't have a product to sell until the FDA gives them rubber stamp to sell their products, and that's hopefully could be happening in the next year. So there we go. I don't know what else in here is interesting. That's just basically, that seems to be it. So, you can go through it. They're going to talk about, we have a plan to sell this product and we got to wait for FDA approval. And that's that's what's holding us back. So are you guys ready to see the stupid jumping burger again? Because I think I forgot to turn it off. This allows everyone to get in here and show and they can watch it.
Houston, we have a problem.
All right, turn it off this time, ding dong. There we go. It's off. Other interesting things have been happening. So we talked about the Miami Pearl Exchange, which is a dark pool that was funneling trades out of the country and through like the Bahamas and Poland and all sorts of weird stuff under an agreement with FINRA to basically front trades for the Apex Clearing Exchange. And Apex is the one that does Robinhood and Webull and a lot of the trading apps. They basically specifically run everything through a dark pool. Then it was revealed that there is a dark pool that is run and operated by FINRA. And so when FINRA told Congress they don't operate an exchange, they were lying. They operate a dark pool exchange. And that dark pool exchange front loads a whole bunch of naked shorts for all of their market maker buddies to sell to unwitting investors. So, yeah. Oh, I forgot to tell, I'm getting the errors that my thing is running low. I forgot to tell my roommates to get off their video games. Doing a show. Okay. All right. I think I missed a couple of super chats already. Let's hit those real quick, and then we'll get to the normal. Stephanie L. So I called E-Trade to send over my remaining MMTLP shares AST. They said they could only send a certificate. Do I mail a certificate into AST? I think they mail you the certificate, but they log the ownership with AST. When you get the certificate, I would double check. Personally, I have no interest in holding the certificate physically. I don't trust myself, or the fact the house won't burn down, or the bank won't disappear, my safe deposit box is gone. I don't know. So I am glad Fidelity sent my certificates to AST, and I don't have to maintain them. But E-Trade did the same thing with my brother and other people. For some reason, they seem to believe that they can't send certificates to AST when other brokerages can. So I'll double check with them, be like, why are you guys incompetent compared to Fidelity? And Fidelity can do this. But if that's the case, when you get them, check with AST to make sure you are still ownership of record, or if you can send it to them as well. But for other folks had some interesting things. A viewer messaged me today showing me his conversation with TradeStation. Was like, hey, can I send my Nextbridge shares to AST? And they're like, no, because we don't have them. He was like, oh, so you sold naked shares to me? And they're like, our conversation is done. So, weird stuff going on. Others tried to send over and were told that the shares are being held and can't be moved. So there's just nothing makes sense anymore. Everything is just shenanigans. Bill Coin. If GM issues a dividend, 50 cents, could that trigger shorts to cover? If not, how much dividend? I don't think a dividend necessarily makes shorts cover. It may make the price go up, which could then cause some shorts to be in trouble. But remember, like, we saw the price go to $350, which at current levels, that puts it at, what was that, 175, so it's like $87 a share. So if we hit $87 a share, that's the equivalent of what the price hit during those spikes in 2021. When we're getting lots of volatility. So that, if it causes the share price to get up into that range, yeah, I think some shorts will be in trouble, because that's not too far off from when it was ready to collapse the entire financial market. We have been sitting at $20-something, $15, like in that range for about the last year and a half. So too much. I would expect to see the price go to a higher level because it's becoming a dividend stock. And if it's 50 cents, that's as much as Facebook is giving out, and that caused Facebook to jump like 25%. So I would not doubt to see a much higher floor on GameStop if they give out a dividend. I don't know if it'll be as much as 50 cents. I think 25 cents a quarter is probably fair. That's about $300 million a year. With an investment strategy plus the profit they make on the company, they could probably easily cover $300 million a year. So that seems good to me. But that should cause like a $10 jump in the share price easily, which will probably hurt some shorts if that lasts too long. But yeah, becoming a solid dividend having company is a great way to screw over the shorts. Got no debt, giving out cash dividends. You guys are screwed. Yeah. Scott Lumley, Houston. Why does No Labs have to even deal with the FDA? The scanner isn't a food or a drug. It's simply just a scanner. Why do they need FDA approval? For insurance. So if they don't get if they aren't labeled as an FDA approved medical device, then they can't have insurance pay for the devices. And then you just have people paying out of pocket and stuff like that. And that's not how they're going to make cajillions. They're going to make cajillions by getting FDA approval. And then every diabetic in America, their insurance will pay for the subscription to the device at $99 a month. That's how they make $35 billion a year off just subscription fees, is by being FDA approved. If for some reason they don't get FDA approved, then they can probably go to the, device market and do what they can to make their money back. But I think the big bucks is FDA approval. That's what will help the most. And Stonebreaker, E-Trade told me we are not Fidelity. When asked why they could not send my shares to AST and Fidelity could, AJ got rather angry about that point. You should be like, yes. So how do I transfer everything to Fidelity? And maybe that'll work. Yeah. So, All right. What do I got? I got. Do you have anything else I want to talk about today, kitty cat? Huh? Yeah, you little fur bear torture device, you. I can't remember. So I'm sure you'll remind me in the thing. Kelly Reed's first. Way to go, Kelly Reed. Kelly Reed, happy birthday. HW, good thing we didn't cut rates when the U.S. CPI rose at 3.1% year over year when estimate was 2.9. Rates need to rise more. Correction is coming. Canada rises rates will crash our housing bubble. Yeah. I do think in order to shut up Wall Street, they need to raise rates another quarter point. Just be like, yeah, we're raising them. Just to get them to just pipe down, because they have all those things like, oh my God, they're gonna cut rates and everything's gonna explode and we're gonna make so much money. They need to calm the fuck down. Chill out, man. Chill out. We aren't done with inflation yet. Chill out. Sincere 206. Happy birthday, Houston. What makes you so confident about No Labs being able to reach its true value after years of watching the market be manipulated and good companies shorted down to nothing? No Labs has a lot of money behind them. Huge deep pockets are the founders and board members of No Labs. They have a track record of making billion-dollar companies, and for the last 40 years, and they're going to do it with this one too. They're going to go to the FDA. The FDA is going to have their double-blind studies and do all that stuff, and that's going to get approved. And then there's nothing the shorts can do after that. The shorts are screwed, and they're not going to be able to buy up enough of the company to take it away from the founders, because they own a shitload of the stock. So the control remains with the founders and the board members. And the minute they start like selling more stock, like in significant numbers, will be when they get FDA approval, because they'll need the cash in order to set up a factory to build all their devices and do all that stuff and set up a whole network for that. But by then it'll be too late. The shorts will be screwed. The tech will be out there and ready to go. Insurance companies will be paying for it. There'll be news stories about it and nightly news. Oh my God, all diabetics have this saving device for them. And it's going to be good. That's why. Stephen Lewis, happy birthday, Houston. We'll have to watch later. Sports question. If you had the funds to draft MLB team, current players only, who would you pick? Oh, like who would I, like the Dodgers, duh. The Dodgers, their entire roster, plunk, I'd be a very satisfied owner. Man, the Mariners fucked up this offseason so bad. They say, oh, we've made a marked improvement in our roster. I mean, you got a bunch of dudes made of glass that if they have career years, sure, you guys doing okay. But for the track record of the last 4 years, they fall to pieces and spend the entire season on the DL. So, no. And they didn't do the big signings they should have. Like, they should have gotten what's his name? Jung-hoo from Korea, who signed with the Giants. Should have gotten him for an outfield position because he's going to be guaranteed American League Rookie of the Year. They should have signed Yoshinobu, 25-year-old, 9-10-year deal. Who gives a shit? He's going to be the best pitcher in baseball, period. Yoshinobu Yamamoto is the best pitcher in the world, hands down. And there's a bunch of racist Americans like, oh, he's never pitched a game in the American League or Major League Baseball yet. He absolutely dominated big league hitters all through the World Baseball Classic. He is the best pitcher on the planet. Period. And he's going to kick ass in Los Angeles with them. But yeah, Mariners should have put out offers for those two. They could have traded a young reliever to another team, gotten an impact back. Should have gotten Soto or something for that. But so the Yankees got him. And then they had a chance to do a trade with the Devil Rays and get Isaac Pedreas and for third base because they got rid of their good third baseman. I mean, Suarez, hell of a defensive player, Gold Glove caliber. Will hit 100 RBIs for you. Yeah, he strikes out a lot. But, if you put some players around him who don't strike out a lot and get on base, then he's going to see a lot more fastballs and strike out a lot less. But then we got rid of Kelenic, traded him for a jar of pickles or something. And Kelenic is in that lineup in Atlanta, is going to hit 35 home runs and be an all-star. There's he has the talent. He's got the skill. His problem in Seattle was that he felt like he had to carry the entire team on his shoulder. And after his amazing spring and first couple of months, he was leading the league in on-base percentage. He then saw the team around him couldn't hit for shit, and he kept trying to do too much, and that got him frustrated, and he went down for hill from there. Like, you can't survive as a hitter if you're going to try to put everything on your shoulders. It's now my European viewers are waking up at 6 in the morning like, why are they talking baseball again? Because that's what I talk about, and I could talk about it forever. Anyway, Mariners will be in third place this year. And the Dodgers and Braves are just so good. They are such leagues and calibers above everybody else roster-wise. And it will just come down to like freak incidences in the postseason as to who will make it to the World Series. Since year 206, are you aware of Planet 9 could have a mass of 10 times Earth and orbit 20 times further away from the sun? It may take 10 to 20,000 years to orbit the sun. Conspiracy theories believe it's called Nibiru. Also known as Nemesis. Could be the defunct, malformed, not quite big enough twin star to our, because most star systems are binary. Only about 10% of them are a single star, like our star system. So it's thought that there is an undeveloped brown dwarf, that's what they call it. It's basically like a giant Jupiter that is out by the Oort cloud. And every so often it passes through the Oort cloud and throws a bunch of comets our way. And that's when we get extinction level events and stuff like that. We've not observed it. We've been looking for it. But we've not seen anything yet. So there you go. So yeah, it's very possible that we've got some like redhead stepchild out there throwing ice balls at us every once in a while. But yeah, Barry's Bit is here. Jiminy S. Houston. I'd like to recommend a book called Nation of Victims by Vic Ramaswamy. Covers topics of dog versus victim mentality in America and how changing language can erase history. Vivek Ramaswamy, no, that guy is a clown. He's a complete sociopath, and I don't think he has anything valuable to say about anything to anyone. So, let alone any book that he wrote. So, sorry, Geminius. No, not Vivek Ramaswamy. Cy W. Houston. You mentioned getting a new setup to plug your phone into your car. If you have a SIG lighter port, you can get a Bluetooth plug-in, $15 that connects the phone to your setup via radio frequency. I did? I don't remember this. But yeah, I've used plug-in like USB things in there, not necessarily Bluetooth. Yeah, well, neat. Jape. iPhone 16, more like iPhone 16B. Know what I mean? Oh, from the most recent Ryan Cohen tweet. Yeah, he's tweeted something to the effect of like, I predict the next iPhone will be called iPhone 16. And people think it has to do with the 16B because the previous tweet he did was response to somebody from December 20th, 2023, asking about a problem they were having with the website. And December 20th, 2023 is when he filed his objection to the motion for the BBBY become the plaintiff and so on. Yeah. RJ Lowe. Wait. Oh, is undergrad or grad school prestige more important? I think it depends on who you're talking to, right? Like, if you went to the University of Michigan and got your undergraduate, people are like, oh, University of Michigan's a good school. But then you're like, oh, but I got a master's degree from Harvard. They're like, oh, Harvard. Okay, we're cool. But if you went to Harvard for your undergrad and then went to like, I don't know, University of California for a master's, they'd be like, oh, you went to Harvard for your undergrad. Okay, that's what they're going to care about. But when it comes to certain programs, that could become very important. Like, let's say you had the choice of going to Princeton for a PhD in geography. I don't even know if they offered a PhD in geography anymore. People are like, oh, Princeton, that's cool. But if you talk to a geographer and you said, I went to the University of Minnesota for my PhD in geography, they'd be like, holy shit, you are a god, right? If you got a degree in like a PhD in astronomy and you got it from Harvard, people are like, cool. Get it from Caltech, people are like, cool. You get it from University of Arizona, people are like, cool. University of Washington, cool. If you say I went to the Institute for Astronomy at the University of Hawaii and got my PhD in astronomy, they go, oh, you're a god, right? So it depends on where you're going to get these things. Like if you're doing things like business or law school, if you can do the Ivy Leagues, people are going to think, oh, it's so much better. But that has more to do with networking, I think, than actually what you learn. Because if you're doing business school, you're just learning buy low, sell high, and supply and demand, and how to make PowerPoints and some Excel programs. So I don't really think it matters where you go, but your network connection you get from Harvard, Princeton, Yale is going to matter a lot more than like what you learn in the program. And that stuff, I think, is important. Yeah. So, does that make sense? That seems to work for me. Bacan. Schwab 1099 shows positions sold. Call brokers and they panicked. Seems like people are questioning why they would even show verbiage that would incite speculation of illegal forced closure. Thoughts? I would be panicking too if I were those guys, because everyone is now looking into what the brokerages are doing with stuff like this. Like, if Schwab did sell your shares, penny for the lot, whatever, against your wishes, and then let's say BBBY comes out and says, hey, bankruptcy's resolved, we got a new credit bid, everyone's getting equity back, then Schwab has to somehow go out into the market and buy the shares back because they're gone. Right? You are no longer the owner of record. You won't just get automatically distributed from AST. And they're absolutely screwed if that's the case. So then they'll be facing lawsuits and all sorts of weird things. It might be great for everyone else because it will cause a massive purchasing right away on the stock. But yeah, and then the other brokerages don't show anything. Some people with Fidelity, it's showing that it's a loss. Other people showing that isn't a loss. I don't know what's going on with those guys. It seems really, really weird. Case Chapman, do you think State Street's earning call on Friday will have anything juicy for us? That's a good question. I don't think it would until quarter 2 earnings, because the DIP financer is supposed to be made whole by May 1st, 2024. So that's in the middle of quarter 2. So I don't think they'll necessarily talk about anything until then, unless for some reason they got made whole last quarter. So no, I doubt there's gonna be anything juicy for us in the earnings call. I think we'd have to wait for Q2 earnings, and by then we probably already have an answer for everything. Are we getting a nuggy stare already? We're 26 minutes in. You can't be giving me a nuggy stare already. We went to the dad's house. You got steak gristle and an entire chicken breast. You should be totally satisfied right now. Steak gristle and a chicken breast. Like, how can you be looking at me for a nuggie at the moment? And you got 2 long walks. And you ate your normal dinner. Just the eyeballs are like going up to the shelf, back at me, up to the shelf, back at me, up to the shelf, back at me. Yeah, you just chill out, man. Chill out. Okay, where was I? Jape, market's closed for President's Day. Maybe some weekend news. Are they celebrating President's Day on Friday or Monday? Probably Friday, because I think the 17th is it, right? So then that would be Friday's 18th. What? Show me the calendar, computer. Come on. Friday's the 16th. So is it Friday? When is President's Day 2024? Oh, they're doing it the 19th. They're doing it Monday. The short week. Okay. Word. Short week trades. Weird things. When weird things happen, oftentimes they happen on those short weeks. Kelly Reed, news just in that Japan has slipped into a recession after its economy shrank for 2 quarters. Who will join the family? Find out next time. Fuck around, find out. Germany. Germany's basically like, our banks are toast. Commercial real estate's not worth spit. We're writing everything down, which the American banks were like, oh, please do it first so we don't get blamed for it. And then eventually the American bank have to write everything down. So I say Japan, then Germany. I mean, China's been in a recession for like 2 years now. They just won't admit it. So we could put them as like an asterisk over here. But I think once Japan goes down, Germany goes down, Canada goes down, Britain hasn't had any growth since, they did Brexit. What then, monkey? Oh, we're gonna look at me like that still? Then finally America can be like, all right, shit's fucked up, and let their banks start failing miserably. Jason Blackwell. Hey, Houston. My wife still thinks I'm sexy because I walked past her and she said, what an ass. You come up here? So you want to come up and at least say hi? That's what we're going to do? You sit here and stare at me? Yes. How about you? How about I just rub your little ears? Is that the stuff? Yeah. Oh, the eyes roll back in the head. Oh, helicopter ear. Helicopter ear. Oh, okay. That's all you get. No nuggies yet. Meister's here. Anthony Cordell's here. Avocados is here. Dan Harris is here. Cap T is here. Meister again. Cap T again. Call for breakfast. Cap T. My goodness, everyone's jumping in here. I'm still an hour behind. Zio Magadu with Nub. Weed Sacks comment and subsequent replies about RC tweet on R Teddy date predictions were somewhat spot on. I'll check that one out. I think someone may have sent me that, but I can't remember when it was. All the messages some days just kind of blend together. Today is one of those days. Nikes, happy belated Mardi Gras. Nikes sent me some wonderful Mardi Gras tidbits and moon pies. I've never had a moon pie before, so I've got lots of moon pies, and I'll probably do a video trying a moon pie for the first time ever because I've never had one. So Monkey Butt was very interested in the box when I was opening it, but you cannot have these. It's lots of chocolate, and that's not for Monkey Butts. Nuggies are, and that'll be coming. Anthony Cordell, can't wait to hear what happened in the court date today. Hopefully, we're going to have a win. If anything happened, they didn't let us know. It just sounds like they pushed everything off to a further date and just decided we're going to discuss this stuff in conferences rather than before the court. Your friend is here. Kim Houston. Do you think that we'll see a crash before the November election, or do you think that the economy will stay propped up until then to give us the illusion of a healthy economy? And that's always like the theory. Like, oh, they can't let the economy crash till after the election. But the minute the election happens, like, they can't let the economy crash until after the next election because there's always an election. Economy crashed in 2020 just before the election. Economy crashed in 2008 just before the election. So it can happen just before an election. The president and the government, they have a lot of power through the Fed and the Treasury and Congress to keep things at bay for a while, but that only works for so long. Eventually, the rest of the global financial system catches up to whatever game they're playing, and then you can't bail water anymore once the hole gets too big. So I'm sure they'll try. They'll try to make sure that nothing goes bad. But these regional banks and their liabilities to commercial real estate are so huge, I don't know if they'll be able to put it off for that much longer. I mean, they got those blinders on pretending like everything's fine, but, our banks are big institutional investors. They are so buried in useless Chinese bonds. It took so much of your deposit money and put them into foreign bonds in Chinese companies that will never get paid back. But right now they're pretending like they will. Like, oh, no, everything's fine. We're not going to write this debt off yet. But they're never going to get paid back. So at some point, that is going to affect, like, everything else down the line. And we just sit and wait. Twiddle those thumbs. That's what we're really good at. We kill time and twiddle thumbs, man. That's what should be a t-shirt. Kill time and twiddle thumbs. Dan Harris, damn wheels of justice move so slowly. They do. So slowly. Andrew Stewart, Houston. What is the best museum you've been to? I really liked MSI in Chicago. I've never been to MSI in Chicago. Best museum. I really like the Museum of Flight in Seattle. I think that museum is amazing. I think it's better than like the National Air and Space Museum in DC. Like natural history museums kind of blend together for me as to which ones are awesome. And you can find little ones that are really cool. Like if you're in LA and you've never been to the La Brea Tar Pits, go. The museum's cool. The tar pits are awesome. If you find some rando giving tours talking about creation science, go make fun of the guy because there's nothing you can do about it because he's not official. That's what I did. What else? I went to the Guggenheim. It was okay. The Met was pretty cool. I think the Seattle Art Museum was better than the Guggenheim. And I think the Bainbridge Island Museum of Art, we have like a top 10 art museum here on Bainbridge that some really rich people made during the last economic downturn. And it is phenomenal. It's free. If you're in the Seattle area, hop on the ferry, go to the art museum. It focuses on like Northwest artists, mostly Washington artists. And it is better than 99% of the art museums I've ever been in. And it's really interactive and they've got cool displays for how small the museum is. I really enjoy like local historical society museums, probably the most, because you end up learning weird stuff you just never knew about local areas. So if you end up, in Central Oregon, like go to the Sumter Gold Dredge and you have a really cool museum experience. If you're in some random town, like, I don't know, Cody, Wyoming, the Historical Society has like a really cool little museum. Even Bainbridge Island has a really cool little historical society. The Kitsap County Historical Society in Bremerton is really cool. A lot of those are, I think, probably my favorite museums is like the little historical society museums. And they're super integral to like maintaining the history of a location. And you meet really, really weird autistic retired people who spend all the time at the museum and will tell you everything you ever need to know about anything. Hey, buddy. Yeah. Like, I wish I could have visited more when I was in Coral Gables and met with some of those weird old people at the Historical Society. But maybe another trip, right? All right, monkey. Look at you. You're just staring over my shoulder at the nuggies. Yeah, I can tell. I know where your eyes are focusing. I do. You are just such a smooth... You're like a seal. Yes, you are. You're like smooth as a seal. That's you. Seal smooth. Okay. Dan Harris, AC, I hear the thing was delayed a month. Oh, it was delayed. Joseph Lee, shouldn't it be impossible for them to hold any amount of short position on a private company, MMTLP? If so, let the thing trade again. I do not hold any MMTLP. That's my point, is that they weren't supposed to have any short positions on a private company, especially naked short positions. You aren't supposed to short naked private companies. It's not legal. You can only short if you can identify shares for purchase. And since the company doesn't have any shares for purchase, you cannot identify any available for purchase. Therefore, you cannot have short positions in it. Ta-da! So it should have closed. Them's the rules. That's reg show. You have to close those positions. It's a factory. It just moves slow when they're guilty. It moves fast when we are guilty. That's a good way of looking at it. I have to agree. Hot Pocket Rebel, that death saga continues again. Yes. Peachy Sunday, Houston, can we have a green theme for episode 420? That's in 2 shows, isn't it? That would be Monday, is episode 420. That means Rosa will be 421. Because she's going to come on next Wednesday. I mean, I can try to do a green theme. I think I'm not a stoner. I can wear a green shirt or something. That might work. Anthony Cordell, been out of work for some time. Sure could use a win, fatten up my wall a little bit. Couldn't we all, man? Fattening the wallet. That'd be great. Till then, twiddle those thumbs, man. Dan Harris, Fidelity's one wild card in it for me as they remove shares from accounts. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Fidelity's weird. Like, in my statement, it says reorganization. In my 1099, it says lost position. Apparently, you can click, like, I'm not accepting that loss and do it again next year or something. I don't know. And Hot Pocket Rebel, was there any BBYQ news from court today, or are we still twiddling? Twiddling, man. Dan Harris spoke with them today and made copies of statements which showed my shares. There you go. Dan Harris, all my shares were moved into my Roth prior to shutdown. Government can subsidize away. Good job. Q elevator music until March 12th. Yeah. Kelly Reed, Houston, do you think people will start blaming us for Moas? They'll try. But so long as a narrative comes out like dumb money, I think we'll be okay. And I think so much stuff is going to go wrong with the economy when it finally drops that they won't know who to blame. But there will be winners, and I'm hoping that we'll be among them. Low B, same here. Lots of DRS as insurance against fuckery, but who knows what to expect. Talking about MMTLP or BBBYQ. One or the other, I'm not sure. Yes to both. Coffee Donuts and Homer. If they can't... Oh, crap. That just repeated. Dang it. Where did that go? Back up here. Back up. There it is. All right. If they can short MMAT into oblivion, then they can do the same with No Labs. MMAT wasn't selling any products, though. I think that's the big problem. Is that it? If you're selling something and you're generating revenue, it's going to be really hard to do. If you're not selling anything and you aren't having a sales team go around and sell some things for you, then the shorts can get a window in there, especially if you don't have enough insider ownership. That can happen. Speaking of, it looks like somebody bought like a fifth of the float yesterday for that company. Interesting. Stephanie L. never had a moon pie. Is that because you grew up on an island? Well, Moas hurt Biden and helped Trump. Hope to God not. I never had a moon pie. I've heard about them. I've never seen. I have no idea if we even sell them here. Not a clue. I don't think I've ever seen one for sale. It might be a Northwest thing. Moon pies might be totally Southern food that just haven't made it this far north. I don't know. I've heard of them. Will Moas hurt Biden and help Trump? Hope to God not. That's a good question. I think if the Biden crew is smart enough, they can frame it in a way that's like pro-investor, pro-America. Look what these horrible hedge funds did. If they frame it right, they can blame others and view us as like heroes, and that will play well. It'll be really hard to be like, well, I'm taking the side of Ken Griffin, a giant Republican donor who fucked over our entire economy, versus like, hey, look what these like rascally retail investors did. They got a win, and because these assholes were shorting everything to oblivion, the economy collapsed. If they frame it that way, it's better. But if the Biden administration all of a sudden is trying to like save Wall Street assholes at the expense of retail investors, then it will not work out in their favor in that respect. So I think it all depends on how they frame it. If they try to scapegoat the common man, you're not going to get far with voters on that. If you embrace the common man and be like, look what these people did. They fought a system that was bigger and more powerful than them, and they won. People love that kind of story. So if you adopt that narrative, then you're going to do well. So I think it will just depend upon what's happening. Like, you know, if everything collapses, people are getting layoffs, people are jobless, whatever, it's going to be really hard to spin that as like a win for the everyman. And people be like, well, why aren't you doing what you should be doing and protecting us from this type of thing? So the blame can get launched. I mean, I think a large part of why Democrats won in 2008 was because Republicans basically let the economy crash because it was their policies that crashed the economy. And right now, I think Biden can still blame the outfalls of the pandemic for anything that happens, especially, you know, commercial real estate being worthless because people have discovered work from home, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But most people, when trouble hits, are going to look who's in charge at that time. It's a real coin flip there. Real coin flip. J83CAD. What is the probability for some or all of BBBY speculation to be true? When will we know something? Best guess when MMTLP resolution? How long before subpoena? Here's my guess for BBBY. When the pump and dump case is resolved, I give it a week, 10 days max before we hear about a credit bid, new ownership of BBBY, debt turned to equity being returned to shareholders, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I give it like 10 days from when that happens. Dude, quit whining. You will get your stuff. Just chill, man. Chill. You are definitely Pavlovian responding. When I talk to the wall, you associate that with nuggies. And when I'm sitting here quietly playing a video game, listening to music, you don't care about nuggies at all. It's only when I talk to a wall. And then your eyes drift right over to that. I know. You see them. You see them up there. I see you see them. Yes. It's okay. It's okay. I can't, like, pop your load right now. Just chill, man. MMTLP resolution. From what I've read, it sounds like Nextbridge is kind of twisting the arm of the SEC and FINRA to resolve this. I think Nextbridge has enough ammo to be like, look, we can RICO you guys, and if we do RICO you guys, then you guys are screwed. I have this weird hair. What's that over here? Why is this thing so long and just hanging out? I keep seeing it like dangle off on the side. Anyway, distract myself with a weird hair dangling off my head in the monitor. Yeah, so I think they'll go to FINRA and SEC and be like, look, we've got evidence you were breaking rules and you were acting as an exchange. We got evidence that you lied to Congress. We got evidence that there's way more shorts than you let on. We got evidence that, you messed up our corporate action and wrote it yourself and then approved it and then freaked out over it. Right? So they got all these things that proves that something squirrely is going on. And my guess is that they may have proof that FINRA was talking to market makers and hedge funds before they did the halt, probably brokers as well. And if that's the case, then they're screwed. That's pure racketeering. That's go to the FBI, look at these guys committing huge crimes. And so, they're going to be like, well, you might consider this blackmail, but we could go to the FBI right now with all this evidence and you're all going to prison for racketeering. Or we can find some sort of settlement negotiation, scratch my back and I won't send you to prison type thing. I think that's what they're looking for. So, yeah. But yeah. And that if they have a meeting tomorrow, that could be resolved by Friday. Who knows when they're going to get that meeting? That's what I'm curious about. Antonio Baez, what didn't happen with BBYQ today and what do we have to look forward to? Let's fucking go. What did not happen is any discussions about credit bid, which was a 2729 or whatever. And stalking horse, which would be included in that. Bonds being made whole and or turned into equity, which we thought might be on the agenda. And those are the big ones. Those are the big meaty ones we're waiting on. Confidence in Homer, as soon as retail started DRS, the GameStop stock lost its volatility. I think DRS, the reg show people, the naked shorts have been using the stocks in DRS as locates, even though they're not supposed to, because it's a really easy, like, look, there's 70 million shares right there. I can sell all the ones I want. They're right there. And I think they've been doing that. And I remember when Suzanne Trimbath blocked me on Twitter when I pointed out that I thought short sellers are using DRS as locates, and then it came out that it's likely that they're using DRS shares as locates. So I think that's leveling out a lot of the volatility that was happening, that they don't have to close and cover because look at all those shares right there that I can use as a locate and we're fine. And the brokerage goes, okay. So yeah, when she hits the fan, it may be a great place to have them for infinity pool, etc. But I think it really took away from a lot of the volatility when everyone started DRSing. The peaks disappeared and the stocks just became like the entire time. So I don't see how it's helped the volatility, and the volatility is what will like bury a short hedge fund faster. Scott Lumley, Houston. Happy birthday, dude. So I'm starting to see signs of the impending Canadian housing collapse online. Starting to see houses that are in good shape around where I live in the $300,000 range. I mean, you can go to Zillow right now. Let's do that. Let's go to Zillow and see some of the big markets, at least in the U.S. Let's go for Manhattan. I spell Manhattan right? I can't tell. I can never spell Manhattan. Is it A-N? Manhattan? Manhattan, New York City. Yeah, we go. Manhattan. I didn't get a degree in spelling, folks. Okay, so you got Manhattan Island here. Blah, 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 right? All these houses for sale. Let us do price. Let's do maximum 300K. Boom. All right. This is Manhattan. Manhattan, New York. 108,000. What are you? Are you parking spot? That can't be right. That's Tennessee. Someone has their geolocation off now. Let's ignore that one. We'll go to like Upper West Side. 2-bedroom condo. 150K Upper West Side. Interesting. 190. Here's it closer to Harlem. 190 2-bedroom. Looks very nice. Out here, closer to the river, like where the UN is, 270 one bedroom. 298 one bedroom. These are probably all places that were Airbnbs, and the Airbnbs are now legal. One bedroom, 275. What about you? Whoa. Why'd you just get big? Tudor City. So views. Look at that. See out to like Williamsburg. It's like a studio. Why'd you get so big? I don't care about that. You being that big. How about you? What are you? 250 one bedroom. Close to Central Park. 275 one bedroom. Got a little loft up there. That's also close to Central Park. 289 one bedroom. This all looks like Airbnb. It's like the cheap IKEA furniture and stuff. So I bet these are all Airbnbs. This is ridiculous how many places are available in New York City that are like these places 4 years ago, 5 years ago have been selling for $700,000 and they're selling for $229 right now. Let's go to LA. Let's go to Los Angeles. Angeles. Cannot spell. All right. Boom, under 300K. You've not seen this since like 2012. How many here? So, you got West Hollywood. These are probably pieces of land. So let me, home type. We're going to go take lots and lands off of there. Take manufactured off of there. Okay, there we go. That's more like it. So Los Angeles has lots of land for sale. Not very many houses. 295, one bedroom condo. 300, probably one bedroom condo. Yeah, so Los Angeles is not hitting Los Angeles yet. So the evil of the Airbnb law, I think, is purely a New York thing. So Los Angeles is totally fine. So if more cities start putting up things like, Airbnbs, like unoccupied Airbnbs are illegal, you'll start to see more, I think, pop up. But if we were to go to, was it Talvin 4? Brought some of my attention. We'll go to Ocean Shores. Ocean Shores, Washington. This is a little tourist place on the coast here. This is ridiculous. This is under 300,000. Look how many homes. There's only like 5,000 people live here. Look at how many homes are for sale. The condos. Oh, that's a lot. Take the lots off here. Home type. Lots. Go away. Okay. All right. So that's a lot of lots for sale on that. But even then, 295, 2-bedroom, 239. These have access to canals and waterfronts. That's a 3-bedroom place on the waterfront. I think we're going to start seeing more Airbnbs start to pop up all over the place as a result. Oh, I just got really scratchy in the throat. One sec. But yeah, what's happening? Anything happening in Vancouver, BC yet? Vancouver, BC. Boom. Okay, nothing too much. But again, this is Canadian money, so that's 288 Canadian, 1 bedroom. What if we up it a little bit? What if we go to 400, which is probably closer to American 300? All right, so Vancouver is still a really tight market. Dang, man. 2-bedroom, downtown. 1 bedroom. Zoom in on downtown. Zoom in. I lived as a kid in that building right there. So it looks like this place is out by Stanley Park. Is that where these ones were? Come on. Zoom. That's 288, 2 units here. In that building. It's pretty nice. Got 1 bedroom, 1 bedroom, 1 bedroom, 1 bedroom. So it's not quite in the West Coast yet. When you start seeing like 100 places for a reasonable price, that's when you know the shit's really hitting the bed. Where are you, Scott? Like Toronto? Is that happening in Toronto yet? Come on. Let's look at Toronto. Toronto. Bam. Oh my. That lands off of there. So it looks like Toronto's starting to have a lot of places for sale in that range. What about you? Studio? 65,000 for a studio? What? Studio, one bedroom, one bathroom. 50 orange playground, one bedroom. Oh, it's rentals. I don't want rentals, dude. Can I take rentals off of there? How do I, for sale? Yes, for sale. All right. Huh. Well, people can spend all day looking at Zillow, me going, oh, how about that? Or we can move on. Scott Lumley, 300,000 for any house is absurdly low, but these are 3 to 4 bedroom, 2 bedroom houses that look renovated. Where are you, Scott? Let us know there. London, Ontario. That's where my grandmother was from. Yes, so maybe we can jump to London, Ontario. London, Ontario. Oh my, yes, right there in the heart. 398. 2 bedroom, 2 bath. Let's look at houses. 400. 2 bedroom, 2 bath. Are your house? Are your condo? 1 bedroom. 3 bedroom, 2 bath. 1,000 square feet townhouse. 2 bed, 2 bath. House looks like an apartment. Let me look at home type. We're gonna take condos and co-ops off of there. They're just houses and townhomes. 360, 3 bedroom. That looks recent. That one also looks recently renovated. 295. Oh, it's a tiny one. It's like a, who gives a shit? 3 bedroom, 1 bath. Kind of a 1960s style. 3D tour. Ooh, sexy. Tiny home though. 400K here. 3 bedroom, 2 bath. Townhome. 6 bedroom, 2 bath. Look at that place. That must be like a mile long to fit 6 bedrooms in there. 299 Canadian. Canadian, that is dirt cheap. So, interesting. Monkey, you want to move to Canada? You want to be a Canadian dog? Do you? She's like, Nuggy? All right, fine. Fine. You can get Nuggy Crumb. We got Nuggy Crumbs. That's all we got for you. Nuggy Crumb. Come get it. There it is. And we got one more Nuggy Crumb. Then we got no more Nuggies. So you can stare at me next show. Got some like bits here. There we go. Give me those bits. It's like get the last Nuggy bits out of there. I'm gonna throw this thing in the garbage, and I'm probably gonna find the plastic on the floor, stream whatever you could out of there. Take that guy. Yeah. All right, and then here's some Nuggy bits right there. Lick that up. Woo! Confidence Homer. Narco gangs will scoop those up or worse. Narco gangs laundering their money. Not a Moth gifted 5 memberships. Alex F got one. Thomas Dubois. Walt the Man in the Middle. Michael Haight and Mantan. I haven't seen Mantan around in a while. So, lurker fishing. I think Michael might be a lurker. Alex F's commented before. Thomas Dubois definitely. Walt the Man in the Middle has. Yeah, I got a great package from Walt the Man in the Middle not too long ago. Yes. Well, thank you. Thank you for gifting those to everybody. Dan Harris, honest question, is the PP show imploding? I don't know. I know that Kais has made a lot of drama. It's just been a headache over there. That dude's weird. He's just a weird dude. And, personally, I think, but yeah, that's hard to overcome is somebody actively trying to break everything apart and then pretending like they're the good guy, because I don't see that happening. So yeah, it might be, I don't know. They're still doing shows. They're still active on the Teddy subreddit. Yeah. I I hope it lasts. I hope that they're able to find success and keep going. They do uncover a lot of good stuff. Bill Coyne, if GME issues a 50-cent dividend, could that trigger the shorts to cover? Wait, no, we did that one. Duh. We did that already. We answered that one. Possibly. But I think the thing will cause the standard price to rise a little bit, which will make them sweat a little, which I'm all for. Cobb Jones Homer's back in the gym. I need to get back in the gym. My problem right now is that the minute I get my heart rate up, that lingering cough I have from the RSV, I start hacking up a lung and it just won't go away. Don't get RSV. That one sucked more than any of the COVID infections I ever had. So that one brutal. It's like 2 months. Cactus Whack, of course, got to talk about the RC16 tweet. I do think people are right. I do think he's talking about the 16B thing there. It's a joke. It's relevant because, yes, the next phone will be called iPhone 16 because that's what they do. But, yeah. Turkish, where's the money? Getty Got's here. Hello, Getty Got. Thomas Dubois tapped in with the like number 32 just now. Don't be scared, people. It won't bite you. It won't. In fact, it will, I don't know, give you a dopamine release if it happens. Poor taste in porn. Your intro makes me feel like you're about to sell me a pickup truck. I wish I had a pickup truck to sell. Turkish ate my money. Mark Kilpatrick. Is No Labs at risk of being delisted if they drop below a certain share price for too long? Yes. I think if they're under $1 for 180 days, they get a warning, and then they can appeal that warning and have another 180 days to get back up. So my guess is that they're looking at it. They're saying, okay, it's going to be X so long until under $1, and we get our warning, and then we'll have 180 days to file our FDA approval paperwork in that time, and that might cause the stock price to whoop right back up again. Yeah. Present State Productions, if I win the Powerball or Mega Millions, I'm coming to Seattle. We need to talk because I'm buying a tech company. Okay. If I'm winning the Powerball or Mega Millions, I'm disappearing. Let you know straight up right now. Just be like, please wait. Will be just like all you'll see on the screen. Technical difficulties. Barry McCockiner, Houston. Long time no see. Well, long time no Barry McCockiner. Turkish Houston, I still can't believe 101 Nas, 101 skipped work behind Wendy now has to do all this work. What? No, I have to do all this work. Oh, okay. Excited Box. Getting ready for my third swing of Adams since January 8th. So far, I went 665, 809, and 745 to 911. Adams going again, huh? Why was MMAT running today? Somebody bought over 1 million shares, which is about 20% of the entire float yesterday. So I think that's why it's running. Went up like 19% today for some reason. And I maybe someone wants to do a proxy fight. Maybe George called someone and was like, hey, let's proxy fight this. And that's what's going to happen. So I don't know. We'll see. Do Brandon Houston, is this shirt new? I don't remember it. I've worn this one in the past, but I don't remember when I wore this one in the past. Somewhere in the last 418 shows. Feel free to go look. My apple's ripe to YOLO. Did I miss the BBYQ summary? The fudge happened today. Please, sweet infinite baby Jesus, give me some good news. No news. Got nothing. It's a no news situation. Prontal. 50 cent calls, $300 million, $150 million. That's how much the shorts are paying fine every day. They can easily pay the dividend out of pocket and keep their naked shorts. 50 cent calls times $300 million. Yeah, I mean, the payment in lieu will hurt. They got $300 million a year, or I don't know how many, maybe 1 billion shares. So spending $1 billion a year on that. But if they had to close those positions, it'd be trillions. So they'd rather do a payment in lieu for a 50-cent dividend than actually close those positions. But if they force the stock price that much higher, it's going to get harder. And the more shares they sell to the market, you know, paying $600 million a year, $1 billion a year, $2 billion a year on that stuff, it's going to suck after a while. Hey, Houston, what's the name of the song or intro you played today? It's very catchy. You have to ask Alexander K. Alexander K, do you know the name of the song that you put in there? I know he bought the rights to it because I got a warning originally and YouTube was like, we're going to charge you money. And then I had to show them that the code that this song was purchased for that. But Alexander K would know. Not legal advice. Houston, enjoy your insights. Thank you. Not legal advice. Hoffman into Hizzle. Really? Boom, 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 boom. Can No Labs buy Acme if I don't win the Powerball? I don't know. I mean, they may not want to. I think having your hands on a lot of those patents is worth a lot more money than what the companies cost right now. First Day Productions, who won the trade between the Mariners and Twins and the Polanco trade? Well, the Mariners definitely need a second baseman, an everyday second baseman who can hit. And Polanco's, you know, he's an all right hitter. He's a pretty decent defensive second baseman. But yeah, having everyday second baseman is a big deal because Colton Wong was supposed to be that last year and he sucked so bad. It's really weird when someone who's like younger than me just ages suddenly. And like, I can't do anything right. Yeah. So the reliever you guys got is really solid. I think the Mariners have a couple of like 100-mile-an-hour arms at AAA that can come up and fill those roles. So I think the Mariners are okay with Polanco. What the Mariners really need now is they need a third baseman because giving up Suarez for like a bag of candy from Arizona was not good. Yeah, he struck out a lot, but the dude hit runs in. They got people in, and we need RBIs. And the two we've got, they're going to be platooning at third base. Just, they can't hit for shit. They strike out constantly. They have like 24% of the time they're striking out. I would say sign Matt Chapman if you aren't going to do a trade to Tampa Bay to get Isaac Pedreas. And that's Matt Chapman's a Scott Boras person, and so they're probably asking way too much money. But yeah, like Matt Chapman, let's say 4 years at $80 million is probably enough. He's a Gold Glove. He's won 4 Gold Gloves. He's had years where he was a big bopper, but recently the hits, they're like, he's an okay hitter. Gets on base more than Suarez did. Won't drive in as many runs. But the Rojas and Urias, who've got at third base, I don't see them ever being relevant. They could prove me wrong, but I don't see it happening. Thomas Dubois, bon anniversary. Toi, Houston. Oh yeah, happy Valentine's Day, everybody. Forgot to do that part. I hope you got your significant others flowers and candy and a nice dinner. I totally understand there's not more than 300 of you in here because you gotta be like banging one out with your special loved ones, right? So make sure that happens. You know, hope you're there. Listen to dulcimer tones and just having a romantic evening with it. Jeep, so many hype dates right now. RC tweet could literally mean this Friday the 16th and then 3 days of no trading and hype. I look at hype dates as awesome if it happens. Most likely isn't. And go on from there. I've been making this analogy for 3+ years now. It's like trying to predict an earthquake. You can't. All you know is that you're one day closer to the inevitability. That's it. So, like, has it happened today? Well, we're one day closer to when it is going to happen. The earthquake could be tomorrow. It could be 50 years from now. We're just one day closer. So, twiddle those thumbs. Javier, good evening, Houston. Made a killing on SPY puts on Tuesday thanks to CPI data, but knew they would pump it for today and got calls for today. Might be crime, but it is paying. Good job. I wish I had some extra scratch to be able to play that game, to play the NVIDIA game. Now they're projecting NVIDIA's going to go over 900. Like, what? It's already valued at 69 times its revenue, which is just bonkers. Like, bonkers. They're an established company. They're not a startup. They've been around for 40 years. Yeah, they'll have growth in AI, just like they had growth in Bitcoin mining and stuff. But, like, $900 a share on a company that's $26 billion in revenue? It's just insane. You're looking at over $2 trillion in market cap for a company that does $26 billion a year in sales. That's bonkers. So we're going to do 100x on its value. Meanwhile, like Microsoft and Apple both do like 300 billion plus a year in sales, and they're worth 3 trillion. They're 10 times the company, more than 10 times the company, and maybe only 50% larger in market cap. That's just insane. And I think it all has to do with SoftBank pumping everything. SoftBank is totally behind it with those just out of the money calls and just riding that wave up, forcing the delta hedging to happen, which caused the price to go up. And they're going to flip that switch at some point, load up on puts, and just ride it back down for like $1 trillion. So keep your eye on the options chain and see all of a sudden when puts start to number in the tens or hundreds of thousands, then I think SoftBank is taking the other side of it. Not legal advice. There's a 19-year-old Japanese pitcher who is a stud who will be posted next year and apparently will go to the Dodgers. Posting is different that age. Well, I mean, if the Dodgers are gobbling up all the best pitchers in the entire world because they're spending just a boatload of money, I don't know how the Dodgers are going to make a profit. Like, the Mariners are the most profitable team in baseball, and they posted like $80 million profit. And the Dodgers are just spending like crazy, and their profit margins have been more thin. But maybe they're figuring that they'll sell so many jerseys that it'll make up for it. Jape also supposedly Carl Icahn's birthday. What? Friday? When's your birthday, Carl? Let's see what Wikipedia says. February 16th, 1936. So he's a year younger. He's 5 months younger than my dad. No, sorry. He's older than my dad. Sorry. My dad's October 36. So he's 8 months younger than older than my dad. All right. There you go. Yeah. Carl's birthday's on Friday. Interesting. It's interesting that he's making a play on a JetBlue. That stock went crazy. Corporate Walnut, Pulte implied BBY could take years in the space. The ABC Today. Thoughts? Absolutely not. No. Not with how fast they went through the bankruptcy proceeding. Like, most bankruptcies would take a year or two to get to the point where they're making a plan. They did this thing in 6 months. It is definitely fast-tracked. I think the only thing holding it up is the pump and dump case at this point. I don't think it's going to take years. But I will note, for those of you who remember, when Pulte brought the PP crew down to Florida back in September, right? And they asked him specifically, do you have shares in BBY? He's like, no, I do not own any shares in BBBY. After that, I said, you know what? I bet that dude has bonds. And then it got revealed, hey, he's like, he bought a bunch of bonds. Like, oh, he just bought a bunch of bonds. Well, today, apparently, he intimated he's had the bonds for 6 months. So I was right. He's had these bonds the entire time. So he's very coy when he said, I do not own any shares, because he owned bonds back in, he had skin in the game way back then. I think it was in December, January when he revealed the bond play. I think that's probably when his lawyer was like, all right, you can talk about it now. It's been long enough. And I think that's when they started talking about it. Javier, yeah, IEP's been moving up. Have a good entry at $15. You think shorts are going to try and keep it down? Oh, the shorts will definitely try to keep it down. They don't want that thing to ever take off. If ICANN is doing something squirrely where he gave his shares to be held via proxy and went out and bought a bunch more and then basically registers it all. And he's like, hey, I own 100% of the float. The company's gone private. Shorts are screwed on that one. That's for sure. Because there's no price on it at that point. And it just becomes like, well, you guys got to close because there's nothing available to buy. Pronto, when SoftBank buys puts, who is selling those puts? What is their incentive if they know that SoftBank will win the trade? I mean, who's been selling them the calls, right? like someone's on the losing end of that this entire time, and they're still, market makers probably have algorithms just like, oh, someone wants something, we're going to sell it, we need liquidity, and they just go from there. So I don't know if there's a person behind it or if it's just a computer system going, oh, write an option, and they just do that. So you got me, Prontal, but they're definitely winning on this like massive buying and just out of the money puts, because it's been driving everything up with delta hedging, and the stock price is inflated to, it was inflated insane levels when it was at $300, and now we're at 700 plus, going to 900 is what analysts are expecting. Like completely separate from reality here, right, dude? You stare at me some more if you want. I don't have any more. They're all gone. You ate the last one. It's gone. 24 the money. GDBI 800,000 share float traded 69 million shares yesterday. It feels like the early days of GNS. GDBI, I have no idea who that is. GDBI stock. Let's see what these guys had to say. So $6. Let's look at the last week. Whoa, look at that. Okay. 270, 69 million traded. Stock went to $11.77 on Tuesday and has since mellowed. That is insane. Digital Brands, DBGI. Oh, no, it's a different company. GDBI. Oh, no, I guess DBGI, not GDBI. Okay, Digital Brands. Digital Brands shares really rallied pre-market after commitment to no equity offerings in 2024. Oh, they're not selling any shares this year. And the stock went bonkers, and then tens of millions traded hands. Interesting. It's too small a float to have an options chain. Huh. Weird stuff abounds, man. Jape, in the space call, Michael asked Pulte looking at MMTLP and agreed to look into it. I mean, I thought he was already looking into it. Like, I thought Gasparino was going to have him on to talk about MMTLP, and then they didn't. They just had a BBY-ish conversation. Season 54, 2.34 billion metric tons of rare earths discovered in Wyoming. How does this compare to other countries like China, Russia? It's a lot. It's enough to take care of basically all the rare earths we need for tech. The problem is that China subsidizes the mines, and they subsidize the market by making the prices cheap for themselves and expensive for everyone else when need to be. And if the U.S. somehow gets the mine online, we enter the market and we'll have to sell whatever price the cost is, and China will undersell us, and then the mine will close. That's what happened in 2010. That's what happened in 2014. We've had giant discoveries of rare earth elements in California, Wyoming, Maine. People try to open the mines, but because the U.S. government is not there to subsidize the mines and to basically force the purchase of U.S. domestic products for our tech industry, the mines collapse, they close. So until the U.S. can start acting like a major country when it comes to natural resources, we're still going to be like left in the dust when it comes to non-precious metals. Let's say at the mine you get a whole bunch of neodymium or something, right? And I have no idea what neodymium prices are, but let's say, okay, at cost, we got to sell this neodymium for, I don't know, $150 a pound. China will be like, oh, you sell it for $100 a pound? We're going to subsidize it, and we're going to sell it for $125 a pound. And we don't care if we lose money on it. We just care that you aren't entering the market. And the U.S. company can't do that. They've got costs, right? The government can't step in and just hand tax dollars or print money to make sure that mine stays operational. And then the mine closes, and that's it. It's done. It's over with. In 10 years, you'll hear another like, oh, we found a whole bunch of rare earths, and they'll try all over again. And then China will undercut them on price because they're subsidizing the entire venture. Now, if the U.S. government played the same game and they did what Canada does, or Germany does, or Russia does, or China does, and they subsidize the natural resources that are found on their federal lands. And then if China was like, hey, we'll sell the neodymium for $125 a pound, and then the U.S. is like, you know what, we'll subsidize you, we'll sell it for $115. And then we get into a price war where it goes down to zero, and you just hold China there until they just drain themselves. trying to do that. And then you force U.S. companies to buy from your mine. So you got NVIDIA and ARM and all these groups that have factories in the U.S. and they have to buy their rare earths from your U.S. mine because for national security purposes. Then you just ate away all of China's market. So we have the power to do that. It's just that we don't, because for some reason the U.S. government has never helped domestic resource extraction. They think that if they just make it available to you can stake a claim, then that's enough. But it takes more than that. If you think there might be like a really cool mineral up in northern Canada, you go to the Canadian Ministry of Mines and Development and say, hey, I want to do an exploration to this area in Canada and see if I can find this mineral. They won't just be like, oh, feel free. They'll be like, hey, do you want $3 million and a team of geologists to go with you? That's what they'll do, because their bread and butter is resource extraction. In the U.S., we don't have the same infrastructure to do that, and that really hurts our ability to mine these rare earths. I mean, we've got just as much coltan and tin as the Congo, but the Congo has slave labor, so we're going to get our coltan and tin from Congo. We don't have slave labor here. We aren't going to subsidize a company trying to extract that stuff. So we support some warlords down there, and that's what we do. Cap T, why are you so cool? It's the shirt. It's fooling you. First Day Productions. Harvard is a crime school, as Boston Consulting Group takes all their Harvard grants and they spread them around the country to different boards to kill companies. Oh, Harvard Business School is the most evil place face of the earth. Absolutely chock full. They just produce evil people with no conscience. And that seems, I don't know if they make them that way or if that's who gets in or what they recruit for. But people from Harvard Business School have been responsible for destroying the economy every single time the economy's been destroyed. That hands down. Hands down. First Day Productions, I don't like voice to chat. I don't like voice to chat. I don't know what that is. Are you talking and then it pops up words on there? I don't know. Citizen 54, Republican warning of national security threat is about Russia wanting nukes in space. Kessler effect, here we come. Also, fuck you, Elon Musk. Yeah, that's interesting. So Russia did 2 top secret launches in the last couple of months. One was like yesterday. And there seems to be intel that Russia has put nuclear devices into space that is in violation of the 1967 Outer Space Treaty, which, while not covering a lot, is a very binding treaty. So if it's, and I'll put it this way, if the U.S. government is going to go to the UN Office of Outer Space Affairs and with a complaint and saying, hey, it appears that Russia violated the 1967 treaty, we're going to have some compelling evidence to show that. And we have devices in space that can intercept that payload and literally crack it open and look inside if we want to. Like we have that ability to determine what's inside that payload that's up there if we really, really want to, right? If it's determined that Russia has violated the 1967 Outer Space Treaty by weaponizing space, this forces basically every nation who signed that treaty to obey UN sanctions against Russia. That's what will happen. So that means China that signed that treaty. That means Saudi Arabia that signed that treaty, India that signed that treaty, Pakistan that signed that treaty, right? Those countries would no longer be allowed to buy grain or oil from Russia, which is the only thing keeping their entire economy afloat right now. They wouldn't be able to buy gold. They wouldn't be able to buy other natural resources. They wouldn't be able to buy anything from them. And if they caught buying from them, then they fall under the sanctions as well. And all of a sudden, China can't sell anything, and India wouldn't be able to sell anything. Like, you do not want to violate that all or nothing sanction from the 1967 Outer Space Treaty. So it's a big, big, big deal if they are going to escalate this to the UN Office of Outer Space Affairs. I'm sure there's a bunch of nerds and lawyers at the Outer Space Affairs Office like, oh my God, we haven't had to deal with this ever, and we've been preparing our entire lives for this moment. This is so exciting. But yeah, it's a big deal. It's a very, very big deal. It's the type of thing that could trigger Article 5 of NATO. If Putin was dumb enough to put nukes in space, knowing full well that we've got a dozen little machines up there that can get in and intercept in orbit and look inside, it would be a very, very stupid mistake, or not a mistake, but intentional misstep by Putin and friends. You're being sustained by selling oil basically below cost to India and China, and this could cause all of your money to disappear. You have nothing. It's gnarly. Yeah. Guts for the long term. Steak, gristle, chicken breast, and 2 walks. That's a good bub. Hi to you and your fur babies, Houston. That's right. Look at you, little black hole. Yeah. Oh. Not legal advice. Deutsche Bank will fall at some point. I think so too. There's only so much like drug money that can keep them afloat for so long, and Russian mobster money that's been all frozen. Yogi 2012. Why was MMAT up nearly 40%? C shares causing problems behind the scenes. Okay, again, somebody bought a fifth of the company yesterday. It didn't cost them much either, because a million shares like $5 million. So, boom, you can really get a really large controlling stake for not that much if you are deep pockets. You should check out the PBD podcast. I have no idea what that is. PBD podcast. Patrick Bet David. Never heard of her, but sure, I'll check it out. Alex F. Wouldn't shock me if it was a cash settlement instead of shares. These brokers won't survive having to buy and will do anything to avoid it. The thing about the cash settlement is, I think, if any of the shorts are watching right now, you're gonna be like, oh, we can't do that. But I think there's a way for Nextbridge to do a cash settlement so the shorts think, oh, we got out of this thing, and then make it even worse. So let's say let's say Nextbridge is like, look, you guys short us like crazy. You fucked over our shareholders. We've got you by the balls on Rico. You give us $500 a share for the 167 million shares out there, and we'll call it good, right? And the companies go, okay, fine. It's like $90 billion or whatever. And they go, oh, here we go. We'll give you that money, and hopefully that's enough. And then the company goes, thank you very much. And by the way, we're now offering a $500 dividend to all of our shareholders. And now they got to do a payment in lieu on like a billion naked shorts. And now they're out $500 billion more dollars. That would be, I don't know, delicious, right? And then they can be like, oh, wait, we're going to put the stock on the market too. And they're like, oh my God, the stock is a $500 dividend and it's going to start trading again. We're all going to get margin called like crazy. So I think that's one way you could do it and make it absolutely just diabolical. I think every shorted company should think diabolical from this point forward and only diabolical. Cap T, but what's less useless, China or U.S. bonds? China. Anthony Cordell learned a good trick today. 2 or 3 aluminum cans in your wood-burning stove will heat the creosote. Really? I did not know that. I'll have to ask Daniel if that's true, because I will trust him with information like that. Not Legal Vice National History Museum in New York. I've not been to the National History Museum in New York. I should go. I've been to the Natural History Museum. Is that what you're talking about? Or is that a different one? Natural History Museum in New York is pretty cool. Cradle for Breakfast, PPD Podcast, is David Bet supports Trump. Oh, then I probably won't check him out. But, you know, we'll see. Getty in LA is cool. I've not been to the Getty in LA. The Peterson Automotive Museum is really cool. Peterson Automotive, I should talk about car museums. Peterson Automotive Museum in LA is awesome, and the LeMay Car Museum in Tacoma, Washington will blow your mind. Like if I ever get Moas money and for some reason get married, I might make the venue the LeMay Car Museum in Tacoma because it is fucking cool. LeMay, the founder of LeMay, I can't remember his first name, Charles or something. He founded LeMay Trash Collection, like waste management. So there's like LeMay and there's like Waste Management Corporation, and they're like the big guys around the world. And he bought the largest car collection, private car collection in the world. And most of it was stored at an old convent in Tacoma, which was the museum for a while. But he's got like 3,000 cars stashed all over the U.S. And about 10 years ago, they got the money together and built this incredible building. Like, let's just bring it up here because the LeMay Car Museum is so cool. Open. There we go. So they have, I mean, it's a cool museum. Show me the building. The building is just bitchin'. Let's actually go here. Go back. Do images. Like it's cool. They have like a big parade ground, and here we go. So they got this. They got like a concourse to elegance ground down here. They have all sorts of really, really weird cars. And because there's 3,000 cars in the collection, like every month you go, there's like a whole different group of cars inside the museum. It's a really cool museum. The Peterson Museum is much more static. They've got like the cars in their collection, and that's what's in their collection. They got some stuff down in the basement they trade out every once in a while. But LeMay, there might be 200 cars on display, and then the next time you go, there's 200 different cars on display. So it's really cool. Everything from supercars to like cars shaped like high heel shoes to F1 cars to, muscle cars, whatever. There's cool stuff. And then they've got car shows. So this entire plaza out here will fill with car shows stuff. It's groovy. So definitely check out, if you're ever in Tacoma for some reason, LeMay Car Museum. It's the worthwhile thing in Tacoma. Oh, did it just reset again? Dadgummit. Quit resetting. Okay. Anthony Cordell, I don't know if it will work for the stove with a Cadillac converter in it, but catalytic converter, but it works great in my old wood stove. It's the magnesium in the aluminum. Interesting. All right, good to know. Now, legal advice, also in 2026, the George Lucas Museum is opening. When the Space Shuttle Museum building is opening, George Lucas Museum could be fantastic. Where's that going to be? Is that going to be in LA? Citizen 54, IRS versus FDIC. They want their money. Even the Joker didn't take on the IRS. Yep. They got guns. They got bullets. They'll arrest you. Museum of Death in LA was interesting, but not great. Oh, the Phallological Museum in Iceland. The Penis Museum. That place is really cool. You can look at people who had human pants. So apparently in ancient Viking culture, if your dear friend died before you, you would take the skin off, shunk, legs, nards, wiener, the whole thing, and you would tan them and turn them into a pair of pants. And you'd walk around with your friend's ding-a-ling and balls hanging off, and that was like to honor your buddy. They got several pairs of those. They also have penises from like 1,000 different creatures, and famous big ones from humans and ones from whales, and it's pretty phenomenal. So the Penis Museum in Iceland, if you go, the Phallological Society, like 2 thumbs up. That was a cool museum. Now all these museums are popping in my head. I've seen the Museum of Death from the outside. I've not been on the inside. I've not been there yet. I think I have a picture of Monkey in front of it once. Brandon T, happy Valentine's Day, Houston. Honestly, since 2021 retail investor knowledge has skyrocketed. Hedgies have noticed screwing people over is getting harder with more unwanted attention. We're learning that we can talk to politicians and law enforcement and all these groups and make their lives living hell. I mean, granted, the fines that come up are terrible. Like Citadel got busted for illegal naked shorting from 2015 to 2020, probably tens of billions, if not hundreds of billions of dollars worth of transactions, and their fine was $7 million. Like, Ken Griffin's like, whatever, I made that in an hour. So I do think that punishment, SEC needs to make punishment way more severe, and the SEC needs legal powers, needs law enforcement powers to do that. Bar Fusion, who the hell came up with ninja loans? Both sides have always had a hand instruction. So in 1999, 2000, Bill Clinton pushed for a rule that allowed up to 5% home loans to be subprime loans. Basically get people who had never bought a house before, get in with an introductory offer, then maybe allow them the chance to like refinance, whatever. But it opened a window for home ownership for a class of people that didn't exist before. So up to 5% of those homes could be subprime. When Bush became president in 2004, he made that from 5% to 20%. So 1 in 5 homes could be subprime, be the adjustable rate mortgages, right? And then a 20% limit off, and as many homes as you want could be subprime. And the banks were like, yeah, it's on, baby. And that's when shit got fucked up. It was those subprime loans from 2006. Because this is when people went in and they qualified for fixed rate loans, like responsible human beings. And they went in and they're like, hey, we like to buy this house. It's $400,000. And we got this much we can spend each month. We got this as down deposit. And the mortgage broker is like, you want that house? What about this mansion over here? You can buy this mansion. I know it's twice as much as you think you can afford, but we can get you in at a rate that your mortgage payment for 2 years will be the exact same payment as it would for that $400,000 house. And people were like, oh, we can do that? Okay. And then they went thinking they're going to go in and refinance at some point. Mortgage reset because the market collapsed, and all of a sudden they're stuck underwater on a giant house with a balloon mortgage payment, and they can't pay it, and they're toast. So that's where the problems went. It was when it jumped from 5% to 20% to unlimited. And the mortgage brokers, they didn't care because they could bundle those loans, sell them to Wall Street, get their cash out of it almost instantly, and then do it all over again. And that's where the problems lie. And yeah. So that's what caused the entire economy to collapse, was the loosening of the rules between 2004 and 2006. Oh, great. I'm turning into max headroom. Fantastic. Come on, man. You stupid internet. It's 10 o'clock at night. Like, what the hell? There's nothing. Well, that's what we got. Citizen 54, house panel has text allegedly showing Gates setting up 2017 Florida Keys trip with woman his friend paid for sex. Lindsey Graham was right. Little by little, Republicans are destroying themselves. I think Gates is. I think he's probably going to prison. I think there's going to be an indictment of him at some point. There seems to be ample evidence that he was paying a child money via Venmo or whatever, Cash App. I can't remember which one. For sex, and there's a document trail, and that apparently he was also like on the House floor telling like, look at this hot piece of ass I had sex with, isn't that awesome? And House members were like, oh Jesus. So yeah, I think he's gonna run into some trouble at some point, and he pissed off some real power players in the Republican Party, and I think they're just kind of sick of his crap. His daddy won't be able to save him from that one, like he did from his DUIs. Thomas Dubois, cold and rainy here in Pacific Northwest. I hope to see a sunny day soon. MMTLP, bless all. Well, it was kind of clear today where I am. Yesterday was a lovely day. It was just bluebird. It was great. But the problem is in the wintertime, it's like sun's out, but the sun is, no matter where you are, the sun's in your eyes because it's just like low on the horizon. It just stays there all day. So you just look out and you're like, I can't. But the sun's getting higher. Peachy Sunday, I use Super Bowl ad as a determination of which company is going down. Last year we had crypto ads. This year we had home ads. Bing, bing, bing. Yeah. Joseph Lee, do you think Biden knows of the potential of Moas? I'm sure there's people in his cabinet who know, but him personally, I doubt. I doubt it. There's probably people in his cabinet who are trying to figure these things out, but I don't know if that's even popped on his radar yet as a possibility. I get the feeling that the staff at the White House is managing him the way the staff of the White House did during Reagan's second term when he was like full-blown Alzheimer's, or the way Woodrow Wilson's wife ran the entire presidency after Woodrow Wilson had a debilitating stroke. I mean, you look back, you read about Woodrow Wilson's wife. For like 2 years, she ran the country. And basically, Woodrow Wilson was getting spoon-fed in bed with his brain completely erased like an Etch-a-Sketch. And she managed it. And there wasn't television news. There wasn't radio news back then. There was just some newspapers here and there. And she really just didn't let anybody talk to the president. She's like, oh, he's not feeling well today. Maybe tomorrow. And then tomorrow will come like, oh, he's not feeling well today. Maybe tomorrow. And then she just basically ran the country for 2 years. It's pretty remarkable what she got away with on that. And I mean, the same thing happened with Reagan. And I wouldn't doubt if the same thing is going to happen or is happening with Biden right now. That there's basically like a team of people who is the presidency, and Biden every once in a while gets prayed out to like do things. But he just isn't quick anymore. Biden at one time was quick. He could have instant recall. He would spit out what he needed to do. Now he's just like watching a sloth try to cross the road, and it's not reassuring. So, yeah. But, Trump isn't much better. Trump has no memory of anything. So, we got two doddering old people, and this country deserves so much better than, like, geezers who can't, like, I don't know, function normally. Let's do better than that, America. Let's set up a system that can do better than that. My ripe apples ripe to YOLO. Vancouver is turning into a poo hole and still increasing in price. That seems to be what's happening everywhere. Scott Lumley, if you want to move to Canada, Houston, I will gladly sponsor you. Right on. Monkey, kitty cat, let's become Canadians. Tell me if I was a dog, I'd want you as an owner. Isn't there a Iggy pop song about that? My apples ripe yellow. Man, I got a bottle of Peach Crown Royal in a gift exchange, and I just cracked it. Holy balls, this is good. Well, good for you. My apples ripe to YOLO. Kebo, were there any fail safes put in after 2008 so there isn't another crash? No. And then what fail safes they put in there, they've kind of dismantled them from the whatchamajigger bill, Dodd-Frank. Like they put in Dodd-Frank basically to like, hey, let's keep the banks from fucking this all up. And over the past decade, they've like peeled back aspects of Dodd-Frank that would keep these things from happening, and it's going to happen all over again. Not legal bets, Mookie Betts. Not legal advice. Mookie Betts is playing second base for the Dodgers, by the way. My real name is Richard H. Mookie Betts is a phenomenal athlete. Have you seen his bowling? Holy cow. The dude does like 17 300 games. He bowled a perfect game at the like World Championships. He's just one of those dudes that just can do anything and do it well. I'm in awe of Mookie Betts. And on a C-SPAN, hola, Senor Wade. Just cut up to live as a local Metro St. Petersburg resident. I love how you referred to the team by their original names, Devil Rays. Thank you for what you do. Oh, yeah. I've heard, isn't there like a fine if they accidentally say Devil Rays? I forgot that. I don't know why they got rid of the Devil Rays. Like, it's a cool name. It was like the Rays because I don't know if like the churchgoers were upset there was devil in the name. Oh, no. That's what they're called. They're Devil Rays. Not legal advice, tough for Mariners to be Astros no matter what. This year they did well against the Astros. They got their butts kicked by the Rangers this year, though. Years past, the Astros were just cleaning the Mariners' clock. The Mariners need hitting. They need consistent hitting from people who aren't made of glass. Anyway. Not legal advice. Had Mag 4.6 3 miles from my house at about 8 mile depth last week near LA. Nice jiggle. That's a very shallow earthquake too. That shallow earthquake's like that. A pinch more in the magnitude, and you'd have like places sliding down on ridges. The good thing it didn't happen while it was dumping 12 inches of rain. That would have been a terrible combo. Okay, the Canadian Goose, 30 years from NVIDIA. Oh, the NVIDIA's 30 years? Okay, I knew it was somewhere 30, 40 years, somewhere around there. The Canadian Goose, the Canadian dude. I want to say, why do I keep saying goose? Canadian dude. I screwed up and grabbed the $20 put a year ago on NVIDIA. I feel like such a goober. Hopefully he's got it for $1 because he'll be okay. Michael Harrow, Houston, finally called and decided to DRS my shares, my Nextbridge shares Fidelity. Got them to DRS in my name. Told it would be sent to AST in certificate form. Got a confirmation number, and it'll be a few days. That's you did better than most people so far trying to do it with Fidelity. Now, legal advice, Dodger local TV deal is huge, and yes, they believe they will make a large profit on Otani. Yeah. Houston Hoffman is not legal advice. Real last name. He is currently in litigation up against Fidelity. Okay. That's what we got here. Word, that's who we got in the show. Excellent. Houston Wade, the time traveler. Michael Harrell, Houston, you should really consider Nuggies Tear intro. Well, I can consider it. I just need the magic of somebody else to make it. The Nuggie stare, because it's just like the eyes are glistening. They're just brown pools staring into my soul, just constantly looking at the Nuggies. Jim, somebody said they asked Adam Aaron what happened to the FTDs when the stock split happens, and he said they disappear. Is that true? They split as well. So if you had 100 million FTDs and it splits 10x, it goes to 10 million FTDs. And then Adam Aaron dumps, 147 million shares into the market since September, and that's plenty to cover any problems you have with naked shorting. So it doesn't disappear; it just splits as like everything else. Now, legal advice. Tesla legal issue regarding Elon's pay package is interesting. That case is now being directed for the primary purpose of the pursuit of a huge legal fee award to plaintiffs' counsel. I wonder how you do the fee on that. I guess you make Tesla pay for it, right? So the counsel says, "Oh, this is how much we worked on it. This is our hourly rate," and they submit that document to the court. The court says, "Okay, Tesla, pay that because you lost this." Interesting. My guess is that the plaintiffs themselves probably did it on contingency, that there would be some sort of giant fee schedule like that. I don't know. Because like the guy who sued only had like 6 shares or something, right? He wasn't a rich guy. Frozen State Productions. My dog is going to go crazy when I get home at 2 this morning. It's snowing and he loves the snow. It's not snowing here, man. Alan Komaski. Finger is working on a dividend to fork shorts. Are they? I haven't even checked what Finger's been doing recently. FNGR. Down at $2. We haven't had any pops. So we had pop woohoo, nope, pop woohoo, nope, pop woohoo, nope, pop woohoo, nope, and then it's been like ever since then. So they had their jumps, got almost $8. Now they're sitting around 2. I guess we'll see where it goes from there. I haven't heard anything out of anybody about it recently. Jason5327, are you my father? It's possible. If you're born from someone in the San Diego area and you are about 24 years of age, 23 years of age, it's very possible that I'm your father. If you were born in Seattle, sometime after 2006, which would put you at like 18, also very possible that I'm your father. I'm not allowed to donate in Seattle anymore because I've donated so many times. We're like, and you're done. It's too much of a great chance that your children will meet each other. So yeah, I probably have like 500 kids out there. So, one in like, what would that be? 1 in 72,000 chance that you're one of my kids. It's better than the lotto. Nethercutt Car Museum outside of LA is a fantastic surprise. More fun than Peterson. I've not been to the Nethercutt Car Museum. Nethercutt. NTHERCUTT Auto Museum. Sylmar, California. Not now. Let's see where this place is. Oh, it's up in the valley. Okay. Oh, so got to go up here, out into the valley. And all right. So off the 210, I've driven past it then. Word. All right. Interesting. All right, good to know. Thank you. Nethercutt Museum. Oh, meow meow. Watched a video where Altian Childs exposed Freemasons. It's really disturbing how all the celebrities and politicians are part of that cult. Altian Childs. Altian Childs. I've never heard of this. Altian Childs. Freemasons? Video? Enter secret world of Freemasons. YouTube, Freemasons world most well-known secret society, and they're subject to countless parodies, conspiracy theories. I'll check it out. I have no idea who these people. I know the Freemasons are. I could be a Freemason if I wanted to, because I think both my grandfathers were Freemasons. But you have to if you join the Freemasons, you have to be like, oh, I think there's a God, and I don't really think that, so I have not bothered joining. I think joining an organization and then your first act is lying to the people at the organization is kind of a weird way to join an organization. So I probably won't join. My dad's neighbor's a Freemason. He's a nice guy. He's an airline pilot. Likes to race his Porsches. But yeah, all right, I'll check that out. Where was I? J.G. Wentworth. I want my money and I want it now. From Montgomery. When Jim Psaki quit, that was a sign of things to come. And, I mean, you do it for a little while, and then they're like, hey, would you like millions of dollars a year to be a talking head on TV? And her and George Stephanopoulos were like, yes, I want to do that. It's not too hard to hire somebody away from a government role, if that's the case. I had a neighbor who was the deputy press secretary during the Clinton administration. Now, this dude, after getting talked to him, she's like, oh, this is our neighbor. It's just some random gay guy that is our neighbor. And he worked as a janitor at one of the elementary schools. He's like, oh, he's a janitor. No, this dude was a professor at Cornell, multiple PhDs, multiple master's degrees, and was the deputy press secretary for the Clinton administration. And he got so fed up with Washington, D.C. politics, he quit his job, moved across the country, wanted nothing to do with academia, and became a school janitor. He reminds me of the garbage man from Dilbert, back when Dilbert was good. Being a super genius. That was this dude. He was the department chair at Cornell for political science. He had degrees in mathematics and international relations and just absolutely brilliant. And all he did was mop toilets, just plunge toilets, mop floors, and go home. He did not want to do anything academic or use his brain ever again. He was so over everything. It's just can you imagine you are the principal at an elementary school, and this guy hands you a CV, and you're like, oh, you got 2 PhDs, 4 master's degrees. You were the chair of the political science department at Cornell, deputy press secretary to the president of the United States. What on earth are you doing here? And he's like, I'm turning my brain off and I'm mopping floors. Ta-da! Wow. Okay, buddy, you do your thing. That's how you want to retire from the universe, by all means. Or you can become a talking head in TV, I guess. But yeah. Brett Montgomery, can Congress subpoena the broker-dealers for the holding each one has for MMTLP? They can if they open up an investigation. I think it would be very advantageous for Congress to open up an investigation. I think it would be very advantageous for them to open up an investigation and appoint a special prosecutor. That special prosecutor will be a bloodhound and will subpoena everything. And all you need is for them to subpoena FINRA and be like, hey, FINRA, I need all your communications between you and these market makers and or hedge funds and or brokers between these dates. And FINRA will, you can try and narrow it down, but FINRA will probably submit 500 million evidence boxes and force the special counsel to go through each one. But what will be in there will be some letter between, or email or phone call or something between somebody at FINRA and somebody at one of the market makers, GTS, Concord Genuity, Citadel, you name it, and talking about halting MMTLP before the halt. I guarantee it. I guarantee you'll find that. Why? Because that's standard operating procedure. They talk to the market makers before they do a U3 halt. They said that at their retail investors summit in 2018, and there's no reason to believe that they would have avoided that standard operating procedure this time around. Why? Because they knew shit was fucked up. They knew the stock price was going to be the equivalent of the US GDP. That was their liability. It was going to be in the trillions. And they shut it down, and then they lied about why they shut it down. So yeah, I think a special prosecutor would be delicious. Who knows if that would happen? But if anyone has the ability to go to DC and like rub elbows with members of the finance committee, start suggesting like, you know what, you guys don't need to do this investigation. Get a special prosecutor to do it, and they will ferret out whatever dirty stuff went on. So do that. All right, I'm so close to the bottom here. I'll try to get through these. My voice is starting to fail me. My apple's ripe to YOLO. Oh no, Houston read my comments. He's catching up. Don't get all caught up and ditch on me, Houston. I've got 20, 30 minutes of work. Need you to get me through. I was at 9:48. I might get you like 10 more minutes. We'll see. Joe W, if the stock market crashes, what stocks would be good to buy? Stuff that's negative beta, which I think most of the meme stocks I would consider negative beta in that situation. Some of the inverse ETFs, there's like, there's UVXY, what's the other, VVXX, DRV, which is the inverse real estate one, which had a big pop the other day. Where'd that go? DRV. When was it? There was a pop right here. So yeah, yesterday. Went from 39 up to 41, which is a decent pop for them because, it's slowly going up. The real estate is bad news. They were much higher back this summer, and then they calmed everyone's fears. But now it's like a steady progression, I think, heading on the way back up. Now, big spike 2020 because it's inverse, so everyone was absolutely terrified. If we have ourselves a full-blown housing meltdown at some point, commercial real estate will probably affect this a bit. But yeah, that's a good inverse one to be in. There's several inverse ones out there, and I if you happen to be in at the right time when everything crashes, those things spike like crazy because there are lots of put actions on stuff and they get paid out. So yeah, hi, you're wondering now. You're like, it's now past 2 hours. Why are we still talking at the wall? Okay. Now, legal advice case last year in Delaware and contingency case upheld a 26.67 fee award for the total monetary claim. So the value of those bonds, I'll call options were like 54 billion, 55 billion. So the plaintiff and legal counsel would get a third of that value, or 26.67%. That's a pretty good payday. I'd be okay with the attorneys taking a big chunk of that because I don't have to do anything anymore after that. Right, monkey? Why are you putting your cold nose on me, you weird dog? Michael Harrow, Houston, wouldn't having your possible spawn out there threaten to dilute your Moas money? Maybe they'll come after me. We'll find out. But we'll have a huge family reunion. It'll be me and all the lesbian mothers who raised my children. Low B. I read a rather disturbing article today about a woman who found out her high school boyfriend was her half-brother due to unscrupulous doctor use a sample instead of the donors. Oh yeah, I read about that too. Like, that doctor apparently went to prison because like every couple who came in for fertility treatment ended up being his kid. Like, whoa. That's a big old violation right there, man. Yeah. Treetop. I believe I read about the guy with the highest recorded IQ working as a bouncer at a bar, living in the desert to watch the sky with telescopes. This was at least 15, 20 years ago. There was a story on 60 Minutes about this guy who had like a 260 IQ in New York who worked as a bouncer. And he had like no interest doing anything else. And there's another article about this kid who, the IQ test was insane. It was like 400 IQ. And his dad really pushed him. Like, went to college and graduated at like age 10. And then like did the whole "where are you now" thing, and it turns out he was like mixing paint at a Home Depot and wanted nothing to do with his father, wanted nothing to do with academia. Like, he hated it. He just wanted to turn his brain off and be left alone. And hey, dude, more power to you. Mix that paint, turn off your brain, live a happy life. You don't have to be in academia. You don't have to do, like, you might be good at something, but if you don't enjoy it, then don't do it. Right? I don't want to write papers. I don't want to be a brainiac. I just want to mix paint at Home Depot and go to the bar and mac on chicks. Like maybe that's the life you want to do for yourself. You don't have to like sacrifice your happiness to like better society by 1/1,000,000% because you thought of, you know, a new way that frogs can populate or something. I don't know. Whatever it is that you're stuck working on. And Jim 1 irons, latitude, longitude. Okay. Or at least get ourselves Google Earth in here. Blink. Get into the screen. Google Earth. Over there. No, come on. Over there. And Google Earth. There. Oh, don't claw at me, dog. I'm doing Google Earth right now. Boom, boom. And then I got to delete the word longitude. And then put in a comma. And then we go. Leave South America. We're heading up to Florida? Nope. Massachusetts. Way up there. Okay. It's gray. It's pixelated. It's getting there. The internet is struggling. Maybe if I zoom out, will that help? Where are we? Are we in Boston? Gaston? Okay. This is what, Fenway? There's that Fenway. So why don't you provide pixels? There we go. Okay, I got train tracks. There's the Audubon Circle. Got the tracks. We got, is there going to be a street view that's amazing here? Come on, give me a little dude. Can I do street view right there? Google car, do train tracks. Oh, you bastard. Come on. Exit ground level view. Tell me what I'm looking at. Fenway MBTA station. Okay, so that's the subway station. You gotta have a little dude. Come on. Somewhere down here. There must have been a Google car go through this place, or somebody with a what's it? Oh, now it's coming. All right, slowly coming. The internet is dying. A very slow death here at Casa de Houston. Ah, you're trying to get me to Fenway. We can do Fenway. Fenway's right over here. Ring. There's Fenway. Ta-da! There by the green monster. There we go. Look at that. Look at that. Is that a glass wall in front of that lady? Or is that just in front of the steps there? Glorious. A mecca for baseball fans out there. Samuel Adams. New Balance. Remember when New Balance didn't advertise at all? And recently they've been on like an advertising bend. They're like, no, we don't advertise. We don't sponsor athletes. If you like our stuff, you wear it. That's what they were for so long. But now all of a sudden they have a marketing budget. Interesting. There's a big old John Hancock up there. Interesting. Apple's ripe to YOLO. You did it. I was worried and pushed it out. I'm just getting ready to pack it up. Maybe keep going for another 20. Keep me company on the drive home. Fabrizio made it. It's a bet I recognize it from Fallout 4. Tried to put a dude on the trip pitcher's mound. Oh, yeah. All right. I got 2 hours and change in here. I'll see you guys Friday. Maybe daytime on Friday. We'll see. Yeah, right, Monkey? You cool? Monkey's cool. Monkey's like, I need to go pee. So I'll see you guys Friday, unless something weird happens tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see. But Speculation Station continues, and away we go. All right, we did that one. Let's do this one.